Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to Spirited Connections. We're your hosts. I'm Diane, and this is Jackie.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today.
Coming on today to talk a little bit about the differences between psychics, psychic mediums, and empaths.
Mhm.
Those are subjects that a lot of people don't quite understand the definition. So we just kind of want to clarify and give you some definitions that maybe you can remember going forward. So,
Yep.
you want to start?
Okay. Uh, well, the first thing to remember is something that I know Diane and I have learned this saying many years ago, and it's all mediums are psychics. However, not all psychics are mediums. So there's the one difference right there. And it's very true because a lot of psychics they are not able to connect with the spirit world, and as well as the mediums they can connect to the spirit world, and they have the gift of being psychic as well.
Mhm. Kind of something to remember that psychics can read auras. So we'll talk a little bit more about the
Mm.
definitions. Psychics can read auras. Mediums can connect with your grandmother or whoever on the spirit side of life. So kind of
Right.
remember that.
Yeah, yeah. So I think we're going to start with empaths. And what does it mean to be an empath or be empathic?
Mm.
Yeah. Well, I guess first thing, I guess I know Diane and I have talked about this, and we noticed that we have a strong bond with the animal kingdom. So it doesn't matter what, like if we're at the zoo, maybe we're going to get some kind of interaction with some of the species there. And then to your household cats and dogs, they will naturally gravitate toward you because they know that they're safe and that they could feel your loving energy field, I
Mhm.
guess, right?
Sure.
So yeah, it's even I've even heard from people say, oh, my dog doesn't like anybody outside of the family. And here they come right up to me. And I'm sure that's happened
Yeah.
with you as well. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
They could just feel our energy and know
Mhm.
that they're safe.
Mhm. It's a sense of it's a like you say a feeling, a
Hmm.
sense of safety.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, do you want
Something
to?
else to talk about is empaths feel energy shifts around them. So empaths are they're very feely kind of people. So um, feel when a room may change its energy. It could have been very flat, and all of a sudden it's very, very energetic. It's very, very light.
Mm,
You can also feel when a room starts to get very dark due to different reasons. Maybe people entering the room that are not of a high vibration, so they sense that too.
hmm.
So, yeah.
That's right. Empaths will also say things instead of I, I don't think we should do that. The empaths are more likely to say, I feel like we should not do that, right?
Very.
Because that goes on with the empaths being feelers.
Mhm.
They pick up on all the energy around. They are really good about knowing if someone is not telling the truth, and comes in very handy at times.
Yeah.
Up to you if you want to call the person out on it. It just depends how well you know that person. Maybe you don't want to tell your boss that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so any kind of energy shifts, and so you'll know if someone's feeling extremely sad, um, or if they're in pain,
Mhm.
physical pain, as well as mental pain. I guess
Sure.
they're going to
It's
pick up on that as well,
absolutely.
right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing to remember when if you are an empath and you are feeling these things, something to remember is that is their energy. You may
Mm,
feel it, but don't take on that energy. You have to release it from yourself. Otherwise, you're going to take on that energy and you're going to feel that headache. You're going to feel any ache that they may have. If they're feeling super sad or anything, you just have to remember that that is their what they're dealing with, and you have to release it from yourself. Otherwise, you will carry that around yourself.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. And empaths tend to be natural healers. So they gravitate towards people who are hurting, whether it's physically or emotionally, and want to, impart some of their healing touch or just their healing presence. So, like Diane said, it is very important if you are an empath to not take that on. You can maybe come up with something that you say that makes sense to you, whether, I now release any energy that is not mine, from my body, mind, spirit. Or you could just have an agreement with your spirit guides. Please don't let me to absorb any energy from others that is not for my highest and best good. So however wording or whatever method works best for you, just so you do it so you're not absorbing someone else's anger or pain. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Another thing about empaths is they're very sensitive to loud noises, crowds, chaos, things like that. If you're at a party, at work, even at the mall, just being around all that energy, it's very difficult to deal with because, like I said, you're very sensitive. So,
yeah. If you have an empathic child, it would be very important for you to have your little one, after they come home from school, to have kind of a period of decompressing and unwinding after school. That's a lot of tension that could be going on, a lot of different energy from the different students and the faculty. So it would be important to teach them how to do that. And if you don't know how, you could always look it up online, or, I guess you could reach out to us as well. And we could just give you a few little methods about that. But little ones, just even more, I think they're even more open and more of like sponges,
sure.
taking on everything. So it is important to teach them while they're young.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yes. Speaking of little ones and not taking on energy, how about your granddaughter in horror movies?
Oh my gosh, I was shocked. Now, no, anything like, I cannot watch horror movies ever since I was a kid. And my mom was really good. Nope, you're not watching that show, not going to that movie, whatever. And, of course, I would be upset about it then. But, as I grew older, it's like, oh, my mom was smart. She knew, absorbing it. But my young granddaughter, she thinks horror movies are like comedies. She is very empathic, but she has a way to detach herself from it, and she's just laughing, when the worst part, I don't watch them with her, but my daughter has said, your granddaughter is, laughing at horror movies. And so,
which is good. She's
yeah,
safe,
yeah,
so she's not picking up any of that energy. So
right.
it's good that she's very detached and she laughs. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Bless the little children.
That's right.
Yeah. Man. How about you? Did you pick up like watching TV or?
When I was little, the scary movies, it was even sometimes scary movies, and the music that I wouldn't even allow myself to, if it was on or somebody else was watching it, I wouldn't be in the same room. I'd leave, just not for me. I
Yeah.
knew I didn't want to watch it, and so I totally avoided it. So yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Sure.
That's good.
Yeah.
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 I knew how I felt, but I think I was such a rebel, like, to my mom. Poor thing. 'Cause I was always being told, no, you can't watch that. You can't go to see that movie with your friends and, or something on TV, whatever. So, anyways, yeah, as I grew older, then it's like, my mom was very smart.
Yeah, she knew.
She did know. Yeah. Yep. So, okay, so like just TV shows as well. So you want to be careful if you yourself are an empath, or you have any loved ones at home with you who are very empathic, just to watch what TV shows and even commercials that come on. Um, Even like some of the ads, like I don't know how many minute ads there are for wanting to get donations for certain animal projects, foundations, and they're showing all these, hurt animals, to get your sympathy so you can send them money. Empaths, boy, does that hurt them. It really does. Seeing an animal in pain or in distress, they take on that energy if they don't know how to protect themselves and shield themselves. And I know for me, even though I've had years of protecting myself, now if a certain long infomercial comes on wanting to get donations for animals, I just turn the channel because it still affects me. Even though I'm not taking on that energy, just seeing them there, I don't want, I know of, and I'm not turning like a blind eye to the atrocities of this world. I know it's out there. I just don't need it in my face. That's my philosophy. So just be mindful of yourself if you're an empath or your little ones are empaths.
Because they will carry that energy.
Mm-hmm.
They'll carry that energy with them.
Yeah. And little ones too, it could turn into nightmares.
Very
Yeah.
much so.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So should we go on to psychics?
Yes.
All right.
Talk about some psychics.
Okay. So psychics are good at picking up things that you're currently experiencing or that have happened to you. So they could tap into your energy and just know, like, if you're having some exciting things happen or maybe some not so good things happen, they're getting into your energy field and seeing those things or feeling those things.
Definitely.
Yes.
A psychic can pick up energy from jewelry, clothing, wallets, hats, things like that. So they may often just say, can I feel that ring? And they may put it in their hand, and the vibration that they feel from that ring, that's the energy that they're feeling. And sometimes it could be very intense.
Very intense. It could be, I felt like I was being burned by a few objects before. Yes. Yeah. So that's a good way of doing it. So it's like, yeah, jewelry or clothing, wallets, hats, anything personal that item has worn or carried with them for a length of time. Their energy is imparted onto that object.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, a psychic also, as we talk about, can read a person's aura. So there are some psychics that can actually see colors around people. Okay, that's your auric field. So you may look at someone and you can see around this person, they may have a blue color, which is very calming. And that, so it's just an example of psychics can see colors in people's auras.
Right. Yep. Let's see. Psychics can see things that may happen in your future. Now, this isn't like 100% guarantee. They're going on the vibration that you're at now, and that can always change. But they can see things that maybe career-wise or relationship-wise. So it's, you may be having a psychic reading and they might say, at this moment in time, this is what I'm seeing for you. And like 6 to 8 months or whatever time frame they want to give to you. And that's just what they're picking up on. Your energy at this point, this is what may happen.
And something also to think about when you are getting a reading from a psychic, as Jackie was saying, the important thing is to remember this is the energy that they're picking up at this time. There are so many things in your life like free will and where your energy may change. So the outcome that they may be talking about for 6 months down the road may not ever happen because of these things, because of free will, because of your energy, things like that. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the psychic doesn't know what they're talking about, or you doubt your reading. It's just the fact that there are things that come into play, such as free will and energy. So that's try and remember that.
That's
also.
very true.
So
that's very true.
So
yep. Okay. And let's see. I guess we go into psychic mediums now.
Yes.
So, many psychic mediums are born with this ability, this gift. It's whatever you want to call it.
It's a gift.
I think it's a gift.
It is a gift.
And others can receive it after they had a near-death experience or a really bad illness. And it usually involves, I think, their soul kind of leaving their body for a little bit, and then they come back. So I think it's their connection that they had, even for a brief time. It could be just 30 seconds from different people I've talked to, from what they've been told by the doctors and stuff, that it was brief, that they flatlined, but then they got them back. But just in that few moments of time can change you.
Usually they'll be able to see themselves, look at themselves, because they're outside of their body. They're in a different energy field. So they're able to see that. And when they come back, it's like all of a sudden they have abilities, gifts that they didn't have prior to that experience.
Right.
So
Yep.
That's
good.
Yes.
Let's see. Psychic mediums may have different ways of receiving information from spirit. Some may hear detailed information. Some may receive symbols or images, or kind of like video clips. And it's all different ways. And it's your spirit team, if you're a medium, will work with you about what is going to be best. And sometimes it's also who you're communicating with, how they can communicate. They feel they communicate best with you. So there's different ways. I've received quite a few different methods. Have you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Some excuse me, you can get messages by hearing it. Your spirit guides can tell you audibly. So that's called clairaudient. Clairvoyant, where you're actually seeing. It's like you're giving a vision. You're seeing something through your third eye. So that's another way that you're given information.
Yep.
How about you give a couple of them?
Okay. One of my favorites, or not so favorites, depends what it is. Clairgustance. That is clear tasting. And so sometimes, boy, it's some yummy food or whatever. And other times it's not good. The taste of blood doesn't really, it kind of stays with you a lot longer than that taste of that delicious apple pie that spirit craved in life. Right? So, so anyways, that's the pros and cons of clairgustance. Yes, let's see. Oh, claircognizance, that's a clear knowing. So it's one of those things, I don't know how I know that, but I know it with 100% guarantee, that the feeling is so strong within you that you just know this piece of information, that there's no second guessing or wondering how you know it. It's just there.
Not all mediums are able to have all these clairs either. Each person has different gifts that they're given and ways that they communicate with their guides. So, what about you? How do you communicate with your guides?
I have all the clairs. I think because I'm old, so I don't know. Anyways, okay, my guides, if they're communicating with me, it's usually um through it's audibly. So I'll be hearing what they're saying. But sometimes they want to show me things that have happened. And so I get like video clips in my head. So it's sometimes it almost reminds me of the old, like when movies were brand new and you get these grainy black and white images. So sometimes that's what is coming to me.
Mhm.
And so that's how I'm receiving the information. It just varies. Like if it's something with a client or if it's something with someone I know, just things have happened. Like the first time I got received video clips, I was a late teenager, probably 18, 19, and I was seeing something happen in front of me that I had never experienced before, and it wasn't so good, and involving a couple of men. And one of them, I knew I went to school with. So anyway, I'm just looking at this, shocked by what was happening. And then that's when the first time I got these video clips in my head, and it was just images of their past together and stuff that had happened. It was a father and son, and it was just, I'll just say it was abusive. It was an abusive relationship. And so I knew nothing about it. My friend that I knew never said anything to me about his home life. And so I just happened to be there one day and witnessed something happen. And then I was shocked. So that's when they were showing me the images from when he was like a child to the age as a teenager, all these different things. So that was my first experience. Have you had these video clips as well?
I do get video clips. Yes, I do get video clips, and then I'll also just uh, also if someone's saying they want me to connect with their loved one, say a grandmother or whatever, and I'll just see them. They'll come towards me, and I will get a vision of them, and I'll describe them what they look like. So yeah, I get that. Kind of two different ways. So yeah, and I
Yeah.
also I do get clairaudiently. I hear too.
Mhm.
So yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of a mixture. And I think it depends. Maybe if you're getting it from spirit from somebody, a deceased loved one, or if it's from like their guides. I feel sometimes it's a little bit of a different communication that way as well.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like Jackie, I have all the clairs the same as she does. So I think that's probably why we connect so well, because we're on we're on the same wavelength, the same
Right.
vibration. So yeah.
We had an instant connection, I
Yeah.
think. And yeah, so it's just always has been that way. And the more we got to know each other over the years, it's like, oh my gosh, we have
Yeah.
so much in common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Let's see. I guess if you know what, you guys, you could always reach out to us if you have any questions about anything. And at one of our shows, we will be answering all your questions. So whenever you want, you could shoot us an email and ask us your questions, and we'd be happy to share our knowledge and our experiences, however it relates to your question.
Absolutely. That's what we're here for. That's why we came on here, to kind of give you information and to assist you.
Right. Yeah. What it's like to be who we are, psychic mediums, and also just to share our knowledge with you. We don't want, like me, I think I said in an earlier show, I grew up not having that resource of talking with other people, aside from in family, who have this ability, and what help I can have and their knowledge. So that's why we're here.
That's right. we're here to help
Mhm.
for sure.
Yep.
So,
All right.
okay, well, hope you enjoyed today's show,
Yep.
and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us today. Listen in again next week for our latest episode, and be sure to check us out on YouTube as well as our social media pages.